ViSalus is life. You know, I was having a conversation a little while back with a close friend. And it was a close friend who got into a really, really bad car accident. I mean, really bad. And he was sharing with me the experience of how a car oncoming hit him right in the side, crushed the car around him. Like parts of the car, like impaled. And he was having the conversation with me, and he told me that he sat there before the jaws of life had to rip him out, thinking those were his last moments. And I told him, I said, I have to ask, what goes through someone's mind in a moment like that where they think it's their last? And he looked at me and he said, Blake, there was one question that took me over in that moment. And he said, the question I asked myself was, did I really live? You guys, I think all of us at some point in our life, and it may not take a traumatic experience, but I think at some point in our life, when we're in that moment, God willing that moment be years or decades down the line, but guys, every day is a blessing. You never know. But I think most of us will ask that question to ourselves. Did I really live? You guys, I meet a lot of people. Most of the people I meet are alive. But most of the people I meet are not really living. From the moment I heard that story and I had that conversation, it flipped my filter and I find myself asking that question. Did I really live? And I don't know about you guys, but whenever that moment comes for me, and I ask myself that question, I want to have the biggest smile on my face, and I want to tell myself, absolutely, I really lived. How many of you guys want to have that when you have that moment? Any future ambassadors in the room? I said, any future ambassadors in the room? Remind me. When you hit ambassador and we fly you out to Hollywood and Los Angeles, and we're having the ambassador experience, and I invite you into my home, you get to meet Karis and Grayson and my big awesome dog Jaeger. Remind me. Say, Blake, let me see your photo albums. And I'll walk you to my living room, and I'll open up my albums, and on the first page of every one of the books, it'll say, the story of our lives are merely the pages of experiences we choose to create. A personal philosophy, guys, that evolved from the ViSalus mission of life. It's about experiences. It's about what? You guys, if you were to look back and try to remember and summarize your life up until this point, you're not going to remember all of it, but you are going to remember the experiences that matter most. You're going to remember moments. You're going to remember what? Moments. Highlights. And I'm willing to bet if you play that mental photo album in your head, your album, not this album, your album, I'm willing to bet your highlight reel, the things that stand out, the things that summarize your life up until this point, I'm willing to bet it's a collection of first-time experiences. When was the last time you did something for the first time? And I'm also willing to bet most of those experiences, you weren't by yourself. You're with the people you care about most. There's nothing like having a 2-week-old to appreciate a new set of eyes. Most of his days right now are spent sleeping and eating and pooping. But there's a couple periods throughout the day where he's alert. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Looking at everything because everything's new. You guys remember when you were kids? And for those of you that have kids, where days felt like years? Like you could do anything you want in a day. Is it just me, or the older we get, the faster time goes? Is it just me, or does every year get faster than the last? Why? My theory? People stop creating those moments. They stop having those firsts. They stop creating those experiences. They stop living. I once heard a fact that the average person has 60,000 thoughts a day, 90% of them the same as yesterday. I think it was Ben Franklin that first said, most men die at age 25, we just don't bury them until they're 70. I think this is what they were talking about. We stop living. It's about creating experiences, but the other thing is you have to realize it's a choice. It's a what? It's a what? It's a what? Whose choice? Ladies and gentlemen, at some point you gotta come to terms with the fact that you and only you are responsible for your life. It is up to who? You. Are you living? Are you the architect of your life today? Are you the one in the driver's seat? Because if you're not living your life by your design, you're living it by someone else's default. Which one do you want? I look around the room, and one of the things that I love about the ViSalus mission of life is we get to break that pattern for people. Because what's scary, guys, is the pattern, the routine, the script. How many of you know people today that it's like they wake up every morning and it's the exact same thing, day after day after day after day? Who knows people that are bound by that script today, by a show of hands? What I love, what we get to do is break that script. Cause people to break that pattern. Cause people to realize that they are the architect, they are the driver, that they are in control of their life, and it is a choice. It is a what? And create those experiences. Put people in places where they can add those moments to those pages of life. You guys see, most people, they don't get it. They don't get it. You talk to most people and they're like, this over here, this is my work. This over here, this is my life. I spend my 9 to 5 at my work. I spend my off hours living my life. Ladies and gentlemen, when you really start to know what the ViSalus mission of life means, you no longer have to play the game between work and life. It is all living and it feels good. Let me see your right hand. Stare at your palm. Touch your ring finger to your thumb. You can do this. You can do this. That is how you correctly do the Vi sign. You guys have seen it. I know we throw it up in the photos, but I want you to know what that means. You guys, you throw the Vi sign up when you're in the middle of a moment that you are adding to your life memory book. When you throw the Vi sign up, you're having an experience, and this means you are taking the moment to choose to make that one of those memories. That's what that means. I can't wait till we're like in every country around the world. And you're traveling around, going through airport, running through different places on vacation with your families, and like you look around, and you spot a little Vi guy on some swag, or you see someone in a I Lost It shirt, or you see someone carrying a neon can in a different country in a different language, and you don't even know who they are, but you're walking by, and all you got to do is throw this up. And it doesn't matter if you can communicate. I promise you they will stop, they will run, and they will give you a hug, because that's what Vi life means. You guys, the mission stands above everything else we do. Above the products, above the comp plan, above the promotion. The mission is why Vi exists. ViSalus, the company, is the vehicle, but ViSalus, the community, is the engine. ViSalus, the company, that's the bones, but ViSalus, the community, that's the hearts. And I don't know about you guys, but when it's all said and done, we're all going to be relegated down to 2 dates and a dash. You know that, right? Doesn't matter how much money you make here. I want you all to be rich and wealthy. I want you to live the lifestyle, but we ain't taking any of that with us when we go. We're all going to be relegated down to 2 dates and a dash. The date that we're born, the date we're no longer here, but that dash in between, that's life. And my question to you is, when you're in that moment and you ask yourself, did I really live? How many of you guys are willing to be responsible, take control, and willing to know you will have a smile on your face and saying, yes, I did. Let me feel ya. And how many of you guys can get excited about giving that gift to everybody on this planet? That's what ViSalus stands for. Ladies and gentlemen, ViSalus is life.